Hi guys, today I'll be taking a look at a very light linear switch, the Akko Botany. Let's get started. But firstly, a disclaimer, these switches were sent to me by Akko. I wasn't paid to make this review and I will remain as impartial as I can as per usual. Anyway, enjoy the review. Now, the Akko Botany is a mid-pitched version of the Akko Rosewood. However, they sound very similar and they're both quite clacky. Take a listen. Now, this is obviously because my board is designed to bring out the clackiness of switches, but don't they sound very similar? Maybe you disagree, let me know in the comments. Now, pricing wise, these are $13.99 for 45 switches on Akko's website, placing these in the budget range. And this is what they look like when disassembled. Feel free to pause the video. Now, let's move on to the switch characteristics. On-center key presses are extremely smooth with almost zero scratchiness or inconsistencies. Off-center key presses are very smooth with only very minor binding issues on very slow key presses, which I didn't notice during normal typing. Overall, these are impressive, 8 out of 10. Now, according to Akko, these switches have an actuation force of 38 grams at 2mm and a bottom out distance of 3.6mm. Now, in terms of the actual key feel, they feel pretty much in line with the specs. They're very light, almost like the Gatron Clear, which I don't like at all. However, the praise they deserve is in their consistencies. These are amongst the most consistent switches I've ever reviewed, and this is no surprise given they're from Akko. Overall, in terms of consistency, they're very impressive, but I'm not a fan of lightly weighted switches, especially ones that are these light, so they won't get a high score here. 4 out of 10. Now, if you haven't skipped to this bit, you already know what these sound like, but if you have, they're on the clacky side. In fact, they sound very close to the Akko Rosewood switch, which is supposed to be more thocky. Overall, I wouldn't call these mid-pitched because of just how clacky they are. Then again, these will sound different on your keyboard. 7 out of 10. Now, take a listen and enjoy. Now, just like with the Rosewood switches, I didn't like typing on these. 38 grams is such a light actuation point and I just could not get used to them. In fact, they're so light you can actuate them by just resting your fingers on the keys, which makes for a lot of typos. Personally, I wouldn't use these for any sensitive work. However, on the plus side, they performed super consistently with no scratchiness or binding to really speak of. Honestly, I know I've already said it, but these are amongst the most consistent switches I've reviewed. Overall, these are basically the Rosewoods, but with a different name and a different look. 5 out of 10. Now, unlike typing, I can actually get behind these when it comes to gaming. Firstly, they performed very smoothly and consistently in both fast and slow-paced games. I mean, yeah, sure, I made some mistakes here and there due to its light weighting, but its consistency kinda makes up for that. Secondly, I noticed my fingers are less tired after a session, so I can get used to these, just not when it comes to typing, I guess. Overall, this wouldn't be my go-to switch, but I'd recommend them to someone who's looking for a switch with a light weighting and a consistent performance. 7 out of 10. In conclusion, apart from a slightly lighter weighting and less total travel, they're pretty much identical to the Rosewood switch, and that's not exactly a bad thing. The final score for this switch is 31 out of 50 or 62%, matching the Rosewood switch. No surprises here. And that's the end of the review. Next time, more Akko switches perhaps? Anyway, until then, take care and goodbye.